RiceTVx, the mic's live wire. American Pitbull, real gold buyer. Sound money advocate, rights defender. In the crypto arena, he's the top contender. From the gritty streets of the digital age, Rice lays wisdom, chapter and page. Silver, gold, he stores only the bold. Land, life, and liberty, these values hold. Constitution, deep dive, knowledge revival. Navigate the system, critical for survival. Rice engraved like inscriptions on metal. Pitbull in the game, lead foot on the pedal. Land acquirer, a strategic mind. In the fight for freedom, he's frontline. Educate on rights, the law he'll explain. Chris Rice the Pitbull, breaking the chain. In the arena where truths collide, RiceTVx, the certified guide. Silver and gold, land and rights. American Pitbull in the freedom fights. In a world of chaos, he's the calm in the storm. Teaching the masses, ready to inform. Keys to crypto, rights we cherish. His wisdom lights paths that others perish. Guardian of wealth, from digital to ancient. His legacy crafted, fearless and patient.
Yo, it's crypto blood, Detroit flow, streaming from the D, knowing what to show, indicators are wrong point, OG since 12, invested in trade, living life like a pro, I'm Rucker, Jerry, and just bloods too, bad motherfucker in a good way, boo, got my eyes on the charts, ain't no time to sleep. Get that money, gotta keep it creep. That's my crypto blood, twist the toasters on the line. Stacking my coin, got the market on my mind. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum too. Cash is king, but I'm looking for a new move. I know the culture of the markets like the streets. Got my finger on the pulse, can't nobody beat. I see the trends, I see the flow. Got my strategies in place, you know. I can't bear enough for written dicks. That ain't scandal and orange, the car, it's record stitch in this. No, not Joe, just to say it. There's the Nick shit that rapping now, business and take it. It's over for me, great scrimmage. Capoeira's unmixed being minute. So yeah, tough seeds for both, still admit it. No life, and in the room too strong, you feel your lows, you hug it. No post bitches, niggas, another try and do it. After Eddie, Kenny, or Rocket, with his own big key. Those she still likes on the baddies. The sky like around my business, skipping the muddies. I'm seeing these days, can't see that pain. Got a big mimic, they agree when they play. With no love for Chuck, with Joseph, Troll, I see yo. I'm from Slake, I'm sorry, just fat and slay. Brother train the song to sing and time the road. Better came the shore, she better creep a privet toe. Like the lady bad and feel like that's super. That's real fat, I'm gonna like pro Cuba. Nigga, cheap a question on the change you, but I need to ride down when I'm looking for a new move.
That's right, we're doing it live.
Looking for a reliable crypto exchange? Look no further than Fairdesk.com. Trusted by Crypto Blood for over 2.5 years, Fairdesk powers Bloodalytics, his proprietary trading system known for highly accurate buy and sell signals. CB has trusted Fairdesk's reliable system for years to enhance his trading strategy with Bloodalytics. It's the backbone of consistently beating the market. So join CB and trade with confidence. Use the link in the description below and get 1 month free of Bloodalytics signals. Fairdesk.com. Trade smarter, trade better.
That's right. Trade smarter, trade better, and talk about yourself in third person. Shout out to Presearch, the decentralized search engine with private results that rewards as well. There's information in every video description. I just put out 2 tutorials last week. 2 tutorials, not 2 Oreos, but 2 tutorials on Presearch videos for the Presearch DeFi, how you can provide liquidity over on the Uniswap side. And now that we're on base on the Aerodrome side. And today, we are joined by a very special guest. We are joined by Mr. Crypto Keeper from the YouTube channel Trading Wars.
Yo. What up? I feel like I need to get a rap track together after getting through the intro there. Y'all both got one. I need
Talk
to
to
get
Seth.
a rap
Talk to Seth.
Talk to Seth, bro.
Seth from Mind Your Biz and his AI, they created it. So it's pretty sweet how it worked out. So
I like it. They're both good. I actively got stopped out the moment you went live. I got stopped out on a trade and it turned right back around there. Stop hunting over here.
Stop adding the stop losses, bro. Don't add the stop losses, man.
What up, Knox Bill?
Don't add the stop losses.
Bitcoin conference. That was nice. David Brumblow's in the house.
Saw Jenna X in the house. What up,
Yeah,
Jenna?
I saw
X is
her.
here.
Shout out to her.
Hey, remember I was telling you about the security issue and how people were able to walk into that first floor restaurant in the conference?
Yeah.
It was Crypto Keeper was eating breakfast right there with the cops where you could just walk in and out.
Yeah.
We were talking about when
Eating breakfast. I wasn't eating breakfast with the cops.
you were eating breakfast with us and there were cops there where basically any terrorist.
That sounds much different, right? You're
Keepers
spinning,
and
man. You sound like MSNBC. I don't know what the fuck. I mean, what
actually, he kind of looks like a cop.
Yeah, Keeper does look like.
Oh
He looks like a state trooper.
no! Oh
The
no!
crypto cop.
Oh,
The crypto cop. Can we read
crypto copper.
crypto copper?
Good one. No, you really don't look like a cop. You look like a retired cop.
Oh man, it's great to have you on, Keeper. And the reason I even did this, Rice, is because I talked to Keeper earlier today. He called me and we were talking about some other stuff and talking about how crazy this world has come with the Olympics, and that's maybe something we need to react to as well. That shit doesn't make any sense, bro. I didn't even know about
the transgender shit, the boxing. Is that what it was?
I didn't. Yeah, I knew about the boxing, but I didn't know about the Last Supper situation.
Their satanic intro, their anti-Jesus intro. Yeah, it's gotten a lot of like slack. It's blatant. All this shit's in your face. We're just I know where you stand with a little bit with the spirituality, but it
doesn't matter.
Book of Genesis and the book of Revelations, it talks about when in this time period it's going to be like the days of Noah.
Mm-hmm.
And that time period was so bad that God flooded the earth and killed everybody and just kept that select group, that little family, to rekindle the seed.
I.e. called the Younger Dryas period.
I mean, that could have been prior too. I think we've had multiple world floodings.
Possibly.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more to our
history, man, even though I'm not, I don't practice Christianity anymore. I respect it. I respect any religion because those people, those people care about their religion. So to disrespect a religion, okay, then let me disrespect the LGBT then.
Yeah.
Because that seems like a fucking religion.
You got if you're gonna do it like South Park and just no holds barred.
Just open the floodgates, and if that's what we're gonna do, then we'll just.
But Keeper at the same time now, the Christians, y'all gotta stand just like the not the rhinos, but the I guess the rhinos, but the Republicans, they don't defend, they don't go out and actually do something materially that's gonna say, oh, we're not messing with this group anymore. So the Christians, y'all got to stand up and start, this shit is getting out of control.
You know how it is. The media runs everything. The money that rules the back end of that allows them to push the agendas that they want. And then how do you push back? I don't know.
How you can even smear the idea of what technically Christianity represents is just beyond me.
Exactly. Whether you believe it or not.
It's like forgiveness and treating people as you want. Like Jesus let those two commandments. Now that we're getting into a preaching session, but love your.
Amen. Let's have some church, y'all.
Love God with all of your heart and love your brother and your sister as you love yourself. And those were the commandments that were left. And then go out. Someone else will argue, but go out and make disciples as well. That would maybe be a potential threat. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, make sure if you're not already subscribed to Keeper's channel, Trading Wars, check it out. We don't have.
We might have to go to church,
but we will have to add.
With the three of us, we might have to do a church session.
Well, I mean, so we had to give him a name though. So because I'm Reverend Rice, you're Blood, and then we have Minister Biz.
Yeah.
So
the crypto preacher.
You guys,
the crypto preacher.
Preacher Keeper.
There we go, bro. We got it. So he's ready now. He's locked and loaded.
Welcome to the Church of Crypto, ladies and gentlemen.
If
you guys are watching over on the X side, make sure you're following all the three of us at Trading Wars BTC. Make sure you're following Crypto Keepers X, also Mr. Crypto Bloods at CryptoBlood_, and myself at RiceTVx. All right, man. So the first thing I guess we were going to try to do is listen to Cynthia Lummis, because that was what we were going to cover originally with the Trump episode. So if you guys didn't watch the stream that Blood and I did on Tuesday, we reacted to Trump's speech at the Bitcoin conference, and I shared a little bit of my recap of my experiences there. We meant to get to Cynthia Lummis, but we didn't, so we will do that right meow.
Right meow.
Yeah, and so just for the audience, all three of us have not seen this, so this is going to be a live reactionary.
Yeah, no, I did. Like I said, I did listen to this as I was trying to walk out and beat the crowd.
Yes, I was listening to her as I was walking out.
You
but
can see everybody else is doing the same thing too. So
yeah,
the female Fred Flintstone here is definitely not keeping people's attention. Let me know.
Great, Rice. You just ruined the ability to get Lummis on our channel. Thanks.
Sure. Well, wait till I told you the retardedness of this. When it comes down to it, this whole thing is retarded. If you think about it.
Yeah.
But
I believe you.
Know that you can hear.
All right, let's go. Yep, we're good.
You know, before you all leave, have we got a present
Look at that
for
gorgeous lady.
President Donald Trump? Here it is. This is the Bitcoin Reserve Bill. I'm reading from the text. In the Senate of the United States, to establish a Bitcoin strategic reserve, a network of secure storage vaults, purchase program, and other programs to ensure the transparent management of Bitcoin holdings of the federal government. My name is Cynthia Lummis, and I'm the Bitcoin senator.
Trying to capitalize on
Nakamoto
Trump.
In January of 2009, mined the first Bitcoin. He brought about an asset that will change the world. And this is our Louisiana Purchase moment. This Bitcoin reserve that we're going to create will start with the 210,000 Bitcoin that President Trump just mentioned and pull it into a reserve stored in geographically diverse vaults. And that's only the beginning. Over 5 years, the United States will assemble 1 million Bitcoin, 5% of the world's supply. And it will be held for a minimum of 20 years and can be used for one purpose: reduce our debt.
Unmute.
Fucking ass. Remember what I said to you on the phone?
Yeah. Yes.
Well, especially about not cussing.
Yeah.
But
we blew that shit out the water.
That worked out well.
We're gonna have to try it out. We're gonna try it out again next time.
What did I tell you on the phone?
You said, how do we have a bill that buys Bitcoin with debt raised or the monies that is debt, basically?
Right, we're gonna print more money. We're gonna print more money to buy more Bitcoin to get us out of debt.
that sounds just about right.
Or
that sounds like that's gonna work.
Well, the good majority of the Bitcoin they've seized. So we're going to use effectively Silk Road drug money as part of our
reserve.
I mean, I'm not mad about it. It's Bitcoin, but it seems interesting.
The hypocrisy, right?
Very hypocritical. Yeah, I mean, I would love to see. I mean, obviously, I'm sure some of that actually was like real criminal activity, but not all of it. And I feel like
very low percent.
I feel like it should be returned back to the owners. I mean, that would make a lot more sense. I mean, also what Tim Draper bought on auction, a good portion of the Silk Road Bitcoin. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, Tim Draper. A lot of people give him shit for not donating more to help out with the Free Ross campaign, because a lot of his Bitcoin.
He's a capitalist, though.
But he bought them on the cheap and at a discount in auction from the U.S. government, and it was Silk Road Bitcoin.
I knew he did the auction buy. I didn't know it was Silk Road.
I didn't know it was Silk Road money either.
Let me see. We got a little bit of time left on this. I'm going to speed her up.
Jenna's right. You put her on 2x or 125 or something.
This Bitcoin is going to be transformative for this country. As President Trump just said, we are printing too much money. We are spending too much money. We printed in 22 months during COVID.
I'll do 2x. It's going to sound like a munchkin.
The amount of money that had ever been printed in the history of the United States. Well, no more. With a strategic Bitcoin reserve,
actually, that sounds fucking normal.
That in that period of time before 2045 can cut our debt in half. And as Michael Saylor said yesterday, if we put $3.3 million in a Bitcoin reserve, we will eliminate the United States debt. We will be debt-free because of Bitcoin.
How does that math work?
It's transforming not only our country, but our world.
Keeper.
And the United States needs to be the global leader as president.
Go ahead. What, Keeper, any thoughts on how this sounds intelligent?
I just don't think, I don't, how are we, so we're 36 trillion, just doing simple math, we're $36 trillion in debt. The market cap of Bitcoin right now is, let me just get you an updated version here, is 1.248 trillion. So if Bitcoin were to do a 30x from here, so that would be $1.9 million, and we had all of the Bitcoin, we could then pay off our debt.
Right. I mean, and they're talking
but we'll only have 1% of the Bitcoin.
It would be like
there's a problem here.
Over 500 a day, but right now there's only 400.
The math ain't mathing.
None of it works.
It just needs 30x. The United States needs to buy all of the Bitcoin. I don't know how they're going to get it for free, but they're going to mine every Bitcoin from here on out, and it needs to probably 100x since we don't have that much left. Yeah, the math ain't mathing. So I don't know if they're going to take Bitcoin and use it for other assets as well, and try to basically exponentially bring in gains off of real estate, this, that, and the third. But there's no way we're getting that.
I'm gonna put the icing on top. I'm gonna put the icing on the cake. After all that you guys said, which is all true and everything, even if we did, you have to sell the Bitcoin, right? To lock in and realize
the gains,
the profits, the gains. You can't sell that much Bitcoin to, even if you OTC it, you're going to be a huge discount.
Who are you getting to spend?
And who are you getting it from?
Right.
This shit is the worst. This is the worst speech. We can just end now.
But everybody
go on to RFJK.
There's a lot of people in the crypto space that is celebrating this, and they're not thinking logically, like just using a couple of their brain cells, more than one. But I mean, they just don't even want to do that. That's a sad thing, man. Do you want to finish listening to her?
Yeah, of course. Let's go.
Okay. Let's full screen this beautiful lady, so everybody can.
Trump just said.
Do the nasty business.
We don't have to raise taxes to do it. We have the funds now. This bill provides that not only will the asset forfeiture money be transferred into this reserve, fulfilling President Trump's promise that he won't sell any Bitcoin, but we will convert excess reserves at our 12 Federal Reserve banks into Bitcoin over 5 years. We have the money now. But we'll no longer be holding it in U.S. dollars, an asset that is designed to debase at least 2% per year. We'll be holding it in an asset that will grow in value, that throughout its history has grown 55% per year. This is the solution. This is the answer. This is our Louisiana Purchase moment. Thank you, Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It's your love of freedom, your innovation, your thoughtful design, your keeping this asset alive, well, free, and in support of individual sovereignty that is going to save America. Let's make America free again, Bitcoin. This is our present to the United States of America. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, let's hedge against our own dollar. I mean, instead of fixing the money.
This is not going to get passed. Let's just be honest.
I think
Next year, you're bringing the Bitcoin conference.
And so, Mind of Tron says they're going to pay debt in Bitcoin, not cash.
They're going to pay debt in Bitcoin, not cash. Okay,
Yeah.
but
so they wouldn't sell. There wouldn't be any sell pressure on the exit event. But I still don't like who's going to
who's receiving. Who's on the receiving end?
Yeah, it's still
the debt's theoretical anyway. Who do we owe $36 trillion to? We owe it to
ourselves.
It's all make believe.
It's all fictitious money at this point anyway.
Right. So why even play the game of paying it back? You know the shit is never going to be paid back. Right. Like we're past that. We're past the Rubicon.
We passed that a long time ago.
We don't even have that much.
Or cross the Rubicon.
It can't be paid back. There's too much. I mean, with the way that they have basically turned derivatives of everything.
Look at that, $35.124 trillion.
I didn't realize we actually did cross over 35. So we crossed over 35
Maybe she was saying
last week.
Maybe she was saying we were going to pay off the maybe U.S. federal tax rev. No, that's not what she said. No, I took it as she was saying we were going to pay off our national debt.
Yeah,
that's how I heard it.
That's what she's saying, is we're going to pay out this make-believe debt.
Somebody needs to push back. It's great that they're advertising Bitcoin. It's great that they're talking about using it as an asset to help our country out. All of these are good things for the optics of Bitcoin and where Bitcoin ultimately should head. These are all great things, so I'm not complaining about that. But don't stroke us and tell us a flat-out lie that you can pay off $36 trillion worth of debt on an asset that's $1.2 trillion right now.
We've got $1 trillion. We've got $1 trillion in less than a year. We're going to be at the 36, and I would say by March.
So that's the point I was going to. Yeah, that's the point I was going to make. She's acting as though the debt is fixed. This shit is a trillion. They said it's going to be $1 trillion a month.
I mean, look at what Rice has got pulled up. You see it. So
it's going to be $1 trillion a month very soon.
You see the 973, that's in millions. So the next one is hundreds of thousands. Look at that speed of the 300,000, 400,000. Look at how these dollars are just absolutely running. We're going to see.
I wish my bank account looked like that, or my crypto wallet receive address looked like that.
That's right.
Jenna said it right. Bitcoin was made for people, not the government. But it's interesting that the government is going to try to utilize it. I mean, even the idea of expanding U.S. debt with the stablecoin companies holding U.S. treasuries because of the BRICS nation countries offloading treasuries. And there's so much talk about everybody just basically using the dollar as basically the currency of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Which between all these digital currency, what's the word?
Cryogenically frozen.
Yeah, Hal
That's
Finney.
What people are saying. Oh, Hal
Finney was his head.
Nah,
his head. It'll be like that Simpson shit. It'll be like that Simpson shit. You'll have Hal Finney in the head with the green. He did.
No, I'm saying I don't think he's Satoshi.
He's probably part
because
of
he was at a like 10K run or something when some message went out, and that's how we validated that he wasn't.
Quick side note: Phil Zimmerman spoke at the Litecoin conference and I believe the Bitcoin conference, and he's the guy that created the PGP, pretty good that encryption program.
Mm-hmm.
Hal Finney used to go listen to this guy speak.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought he was going to be doing it over like camera, but he actually was there in person. I never really got a chance to talk to him, but I still thought that was cool that he was there.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Wait a minute. People still hold Litecoin?
Yeah. There's actually a conference and everything. You ask.
Damn, Kiefer.
Do we, should we just like boot him?
I'm sorry. I still hold a lot of XRP. This is a good thing.
It's like, I can just do this, right? I love you.
In fairness, this is the same man giving you shit about Litecoin that holds way too much XRP.
Man. I love you. I wouldn't do that if I didn't love you, man.
I know you wouldn't.
XRP to 10K, baby.
I hold way too much XRP to talk trash about Litecoin. That's a fact.
we all make our mistakes, I guess, in crypto. But I mean, like, what's really interesting?
Rice spoke at the Litecoin conference this year.
Moderated panel. Peter McCormick did the intro with Charlie, and I listened to that, and it's pretty interesting. It's not even but maybe 20-25 minutes long, but
was Charlie Lee there?
Yeah, it was Peter. Charlie.
He was in Nashville, right?
Yeah, no, he was cool. Jenna stayed at the hotel, and I think she went to the event for a second, but I didn't see her. When I did see her, it was probably a very inopportune time, as I told her that I would describe it. And we'll just go ahead. I went ahead and fast forward it to where the speech was beginning.
Okay. All right, sweet.
Now
and we're gonna do. You want to do 1.5 with him, Mr. Raspy?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, we probably speed him up too.
Okay. Hulk Hogan's theme song.
Hello, Bitcoiners. I am so glad to be back for my second Bitcoin conference. Since last year in Miami, I've been meeting with leaders and thinkers from this community. I've conferred with Bitcoin miners, with policymakers, with economists, with financial experts, with investors and developers and entrepreneurs to deepen my understanding of the extraordinary promise of Bitcoin for our country and for our planet. After all I've learned, I intend, as President of the United States, to sign an executive order on day one, directing the Department of Justice and the U.S. Marshals to transfer the approximately 200,000 Bitcoin held by the U.S. government to the United States Treasury, where it will be held as a strategic asset.
Okay, so everyone's going with this angle.
She kind of had a head tilt, just a slight head.
He's going to be doing that. That Trump is going to be saying something to that effect. So I figure everybody's going to be beaten to the punch. I mean, I think at this point, we're probably going to see a pro-crypto Kamala. Everybody's going to be.
Well, didn't you see that she was reaching out to like the people in crypto, trying to better understand and get good relationships with the.
Oh my God!
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, trying to
as always.
They realize the power because apparently, like I said, the donations coming from the crypto community to Trump apparently were insane. I gotta try to find out some more specifics on that, but but apparently a lot of what I heard from his speech is it's a lot more pro crypto, pro Bitcoin as opposed to Trump, where he was kind of like laying out a lot of different things that he was going to do that was not necessarily crypto related.
On day one as president, I will sign another executive order directing the U.S. Treasury to purchase 550 Bitcoin daily until the U.S. has built a reserve of at least 4 million Bitcoins.
Can you pause it?
And a position of dominance that no other country will be able to usurp. Our nation holds approximately 19% of global gold reserves. This policy will give us about the same proportion of total Bitcoin. The cascading impact from these actions will eventually move Bitcoin to a valuation of hundreds of trillions of dollars. On day one as president, I will sign also an executive order directing the IRS to issue public guidelines that all transactions between Bitcoin and the US dollar are unreportable transactions.
Oh my. Stop the music, bro. Just stop. Like, what is really going on here?
We're being politicianed.
This is nonsense, man.
They're trying to use their magic words on us.
I'm surprised like Trump and Lummis didn't like one up him. This sounds like he came after them with this nonsense. Like he's trying to one up Trump and Lummis, but he was the day before.
He was the day before.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. This is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And by extension, non-taxable.
Now, a lot of that has not been said, though. The
On day one as president, I will also sign an executive order directing the IRS to treat Bitcoin as an eligible asset for 1031 exchange into real property.
That needs to happen. Pause.
No, that's cool. That's realistic.
Pause that real quick.
Go ahead.
So
Go
the
ahead.
1031 exchange, for those of you watching that don't understand what that is being able to swap a like asset for another like asset. So like in the stock
we
market,
use that in real estate.
yeah,
right?
real estate, the stock market, like you're able to get in and out without incurring basically the tax implications that happen. And right now, the moment that I flop from Bitcoin to ETH, doesn't matter, just one asset to the next, which they're arguing at least now that, well, Bitcoin and Ethereum are different. Yeah, well, this house and this house are freaking different too. And Apple's different than NVIDIA as well. So it's a bad argument, but I do, and I've always pushed for and like that idea. 1031 exchange for crypto. It absolutely should be a real that needs to happen. I like
our
taxable
that one.
events that we have happen are so stupid in crypto, dude. When you meet with your tax guy and he starts looking at all this stuff, he's like, "Well, you got a taxable event here." And I'm like, "Wait a minute, no, I was just flopping over, boom, boom, boom." And he's like, "Yeah, well, that's how
I was just flopping and groping." Shout out to Crypto Face.
Yeah, that needs to happen.
Yeah, no,
bro, this shit is at
the same time,
it's unmanageable. Like the way it's set up right now, Keeper, it's unmanageable.
Yeah,
you're gonna spend thousands of dollars with a CPA just to get the shit right.
Oh, no doubt. And even using some of the using some of the programs that they have that actually are really good in terms of keeping track of things, it still does a bad job. I've used one of them. It still does a bad job of calculating the right moments as to when and how the tax event should happen off of its cost basis. So it's screwed up no matter what. Like at some point, I don't even know how they're going to fix it, but something's going to have to happen. Or we need to go over and be like Dubai and say, okay, we're going to have just a flat tax on all your crypto transactions,
from fiat,
and here's what it is.
Or crypto to fiat.
Yeah, just, okay, we're going to tax you at 10% or 8% or 12, whatever the number is that's a manageable number. Okay, then we can just have a flat tax on it, and boom, bam, slam. It would work, but with how they have it now, it's crazy.
I think there's a bet in here, if I'm understanding this correctly, that Jenna X is saying XRP will go to $10,000.
No,
she's busting balls.
Yeah, she's just playing
yeah,
around.
I mean,
she hopes it does, and so do I.
Well, there's I mean, they made some sort of wager. She's saying 13 days, something like that.
In 13 days, yeah. The XRP is going to be 10K in 13 days.
On the
13th, guys, I'm going to let you know now. I will own the. Let's see here. I will be buying an.
I wasn't taking it seriously, and then it looked like they had agreed to. But now, okay, now she says you better know I'm trolling. Okay, now she finally says it. But yeah. But yeah, it looked like they actually were making some kind of bet.
We got Amy Lives Crypto in the building.
Amy Lives Crypto. I met her down in Nashville. It was really nice to meet her.
Yeah, I met her as well.
She was sweet. Yeah.
Cool
tall
lady.
Miss Lady there.
She is tall.
Yeah.
For me, she's about probably Keeper's height.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
All right, so let's continue on here.
I want to say a couple of words.
The three of us managed to get two women in the chat room. Great job.
I consider myself part of it. Despite their different viewpoints, I found the most striking feature of Bitcoin community is this kind of paradoxical
Alexander G's in the house.
juxtaposition.
Oh, yeah.
By fierce divisions on several minor issues and an overwhelming sense of unity within the larger Bitcoin ecosystem. The Bitcoin community reminds me of how American politics ought to be, fiercely diverse, but ultimately united in our aspirations and our belief in our country and in our convictions that America is worth the fight. And in the end, we all come back together, united in our belief that Bitcoin is a technology for freedom, or optimism, or independence, or democracy and transparency. It is the currency of hope. It is the perfect currency.
I mean, I do agree with most of that.
It is an elegant, poetic, beautiful, pure species that aligns perfectly with the highest ideals and aspirations represented by the American experiment with self-governance. It is incorruptible. It has integrity. It has self-sovereignty. It promotes personal responsibility and accountability. It is decentralized and democratic. It is small on government and large on personal freedom. Bitcoin is anti-war. It is a fierce, merciless, and insurmountable foe of government corruption.
I definitely agree with all that.
I don't even know my own introduction to Bitcoin, my own conversion. I knew from my children about Bitcoin, but it was it seemed almost to me something like a fad or a novelty. And then I saw what happened in Ottawa. I was running at that time the Children's Health Defense, which was the premier advocate for medical freedom in our country. And we had embedded with the we had embedded with the striking truckers in Canada, a reporter for our newsletter, and she was traveling with the truckers from Alberta all the way to Ottawa. And the truckers are very diverse in Canada. They're Asian, they're black, they're white. The trucking strike, the truckers were doing something that all of us in our country take for granted. They were assembling to petition their government about something that they thought was important, which was that the impacts, the financial impacts of the mandates on their businesses. If you look at the videos of that event, it was like Woodstock, where people were giving out water bottles, they were picking up trash, they were playing music, they were being kind to each other. But it was portrayed by the Canadian government as a right-wing, extremist, violent terror organization. And the government began using facial recognition systems and other forms of surveillance to learn the identity of the truckers, looking at their license plates, et cetera. And then it froze their bank accounts. And it froze their $12 million PayPal account. And when Canada did that, it occurred that the premier template of democracy in the world besides the United States, it occurred to me immediately that transactional freedom was as important as freedom of expression in the First Amendment.
With our servers designed for AI, you can revolutionize the way you do business.
Premium.
I see.
You bastards.
Because if the government has the capacity, none of these truckers were charged with a crime, much less convicted. And yet the government was able to shut down their bank accounts. They couldn't pay their mortgages. They couldn't buy diesel for their trucks. They couldn't buy food for their children. One trucker told me that he was going to jail because he couldn't make mandatory alimony payments. And if a government is able to starve you, to evict you from your home, if you speak out against it, if you criticize government policies, then we are on the road to totalitarianism and slavery. And
He's not wrong about any of that.
Looking seriously for alternatives. And it was that incident that led me immediately to grasp the potential of this technology.
Let's pause real quick,
transaction
can we?
freedom and self-sovereignty.
Do what?
I was just going to ask you to pause real quick. I just wanted to touch on that. Like, he couldn't be more right. I remember when the trucker thing happened, and they did exactly what he said. They were able to identify all the people. They were able to freeze all of their accounts. Like, that was absolutely madness, right? And that is scary. And he's talking about transactional freedom, the freedom to transact, and how Bitcoin could solve that. They're not wrong about all of the great things that Bitcoin can bring. The only pushback that I give is that if we ever went to Bitcoin as an actual currency, like it was actually, we were using it as a currency on a daily basis, is we really can't, because the way that it's used now is for investment thesis, right? You're looking for gains from that. When the lady asked me, when I bought this hat, this is a Veterans for Bitcoin hat right here, and I pulled a card out of my wallet to pay her for it at the conference, and she goes, "Oh, you're not going to pay me in Bitcoin?" And I said, "Pay you in Bitcoin? I am not giving up Bitcoin for a $35 hat," right? And so that's the mentality that the people in Bitcoin have now. I don't know how you would ever get away from that. And if you do, it means that it's so stable that it's no longer what it was in that regard either. That's how I feel about it anyway.
Keeper, it's structurally not, programmably not able to be a money anymore because it's limited.
Yeah.
No, limited. It's limited by 21 million coins.
By default,
deflationary.
It's going to be like a reserve asset. It'll be like,
it's a reserve asset.
And I think it will keep that position, and then you can do things with your.
You're not going to have money velocity with Bitcoin because every halving makes it more rare. So people are going to hold on to it every halving more and more and more.
Yeah, I told you before.
But when they say it's the perfect money, I wouldn't look at it that way. I think it is a fantastic.
Rice and I have had this conversation about money and currency, and the shit just got all convoluted, and now we just gave up.
There's no point.
I won't pull it up.
Just gave up. I don't know what is money and what is currency.
One is supposed to be a store of wealth, and one is not. That's basically the difference between money and currency, and that's why they say something like gold is money because you can store your wealth.
Okay.
But fiat, you can't. It's designed inherently for you to lose value. If that makes any sense.
And now, my pushback was that. Go ahead.
We don't think that. I mean, a lot of people are under the agreement that RFK is not going to really. He's not part of the technical selection process. He's not going to make it through. If Donald Trump, if everything goes smoothly, Donald Trump was to be elected, I would say it would be in Donald Trump's best interest to have RFK on his crypto committee or as an advisor in the crypto aspect, working with the Trump administration, in my opinion. I think because he obviously He knows
I've
his
said
shit.
this
He has a
many
place.
times, Rice.
He should have been the VP. I know. We talked about that.
This is what I'm saying. There were rumors that, I don't know if you heard this, Keeper, that Trump's people reached out to his people.
And he said no.
And he said no.
I did hear that.
And that's when I stopped liking RFK. Because I felt like that would have been the ticket to hit, man, bro. We would be
because you actually have a registered Democrat at that. Yes,
exactly. At that point, it would have been a Democrat and Republican running together.
That would have been great,
and that would have been a great thing. He stands on a lot of Republican type, policies. His stance is very much,
it's
conservative on a lot of things.
He's a moderate Democrat,
but not on everything. Yeah, and I think you're right. He maybe could have bridged that gap, and I think, damn, we need that right now, dude.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Bringing the country together by having two separate parties, by having two parties work together in that position as vice and president. I think it would show a lot. Even if we went back to the old days, because the old days, and I'm not sure exactly. I keep saying I want to look into this, but at some point when they first started doing the elections, whoever came in second was the vice president.
Right.
That makes a lot more sense, because then you're being held accountable by your opponent necessarily.
Yeah.
Not necessarily trying to sabotage you, but it's almost like you got people fact checking each other and keeping each other in check. You know what I'm saying?
The problem with that is they can't manipulate what they want to do in that circumstance when they're fighting against each other, and then all of a sudden they got to be on the same team, even though I think some of it's controlled opposition anyway. Yeah, it made sense. I don't disagree with you, but they're so heavy into the money side and the control side of what's happening and making decisions for that I think that's the problem. That's why they don't want to do it that way.
It would have been great. It would have been great to have RFK and Trump, because we both know Trump and RFK are not in the plan. It's just that Trump tricked them and slithered in 2016. But he's clearly not part of the plan.
Well,
they don't want him in.
I feel like it goes into when they say a third party, the only thing they really do is just take away votes from one candidate. So I feel like it's trying to take away Trump votes. Because it's like the people who are like not sure about Trump, but he's
what's that called? I used to know the name for it, where you have basically somebody that's running that's not actually in the running, but they're taking votes away from one specific. There's a name for that, and I cannot think of what it is. I was trying to think.
I'm not sure. If anybody in the chat knows, definitely let us know.
Chat, if you know what that is.
Is it called nigger rigging?
Jerry rigging.
Hey, Jerry rigging. Oh, that's what it is. Jerry rigging. I'm sorry.
Make sure that the AI knows who said that out of the three.
Like I said, you're guilty by association, man.
Oh my God. I had to slide something crazy in. All right, so let me just say this real quick before we keep going.
Okay.
So far, best speech. Better than Trump's.
Yes.
That's why.
Right?
I think anybody can agree that if there was a debate between the three candidates, whether it's Biden or Harris, that Kennedy would talk circles around them and win every single debate.
That's why they blocked him out. They wouldn't give him Secret Service. Assassination attempt. We forget. We're not connecting the dots here. Assassination attempt on him too, right?
Yeah.
Rice?
He's the reason why.
This shit is crazy, bro.
The reason
this country is.
When was that?
When was what? There was an attempt on his life in California while he was, I think at that point he was still a Democrat.
Long time ago.
Like in the past year?
Oh, in the past year?
Yeah,
I didn't know.
Yes.
Yeah, I think there were two separate incidents, but some guy jumped a fence with a gun.
Oh, I didn't know that. No. Okay.
Yeah. And they denied, and they've been denying him Secret Service, and any other candidate running would get it. Considering his dad and his uncle's position, you would think that it would just be a given.
Yeah.
Like, for sure. It just doesn't make it, a lot of that. And also, you were there, man. You went to Karate Combat, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So in Karate Combat, RFK was not announced to be there. It was a surprise thing. He was there. You couldn't bring in lighters or vapes. They would not let people bring lighters or vapes.
Correct.
Friday, the security at the Bitcoin conference was pretty lax.
Compared to Karate Combat, yes.
And then
that's crazy,
Saturday, it was Saturday when Trump was there, it was back to no vapes and lighters and more security. So why wasn't Trump and RFK given equal security? That doesn't make sense. They both should have been it should have been on par, not
of course,
not different levels of, because again, like me and you talked about, and it was that morning that we could have just snuck anything in.
Oh yeah.
That morning,
That's
that was
crazy.
It was Friday morning when or Friday early afternoon when I saw you about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, about 1, I think.
Yeah.
But it was me eating breakfast, so breakfast for me. But Friday morning, you could have literally just walked straight into the venue with. It looks like you probably could have had a bomb if you wanted to.
So can you hold up the exhibit A, Rice? Do you have exhibit A?
I don't know if
available?
I told
he didn't. Yeah, you didn't tell Keeper this. Listen to this shit, Keeper.
So Thursday, when I was going to go get my pass and sign in for the conference, as I'm getting there, I see Ken Bozak, and I'm asking him how security is, because I got some herb on me and all this shit and whatever. And he laughs and pulls out this knife. He said that somebody before he went in took this, I guess, out of their pocket and sat it on the sidewalk to just not go in with it.
Right.
And Bozak decided he was going to pick it up and put it in his pocket and walk see if they caught it. And they didn't. Thursday,
they didn't catch it, bro.
I told him that if you bring it in again, like especially for Friday or Saturday, I'm like, you probably won't be allowed back at the conference because you're bringing a weapon in after the email said not to bring that kind of shit.
Right. Right.
So he ended up handing it to me. I couldn't. I had to hide it in a parking lot until the next morning, and then I went back and got it. So this is my favorite souvenir from the conference, but it was snuck into security by a person that looks like Bozak. That's the thing. Bozak
that's the thing.
He stands out.
He's asking to have his ass
for sure.
He stands out.
Anal probed all day.
He'll just bend over and be like, "How far are you gonna go?"
Yeah,
correct. And this guy got a knife through.
I did not know that, but not truly surprised by it. But yes.
So I know you got to bounce in about 9 minutes. Do you want to listen to a little bit more, or do you want to do like some final thoughts on your end? I want to be respectful of your timekeeper.
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. Listen to a little bit more. See if there's something else we grab. Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Last year at this conference, I proposed that as your president, I would fight to ensure the right to self-custody Bitcoin, to run nodes in our own homes, to stop the federal government from usurping First Amendment rights to open source, privacy-enhancing technologies. I pledge to prevent government officials from adopting CBDCs, which would inevitably morph into what we saw in Canada, a malevolent tool for surveillance and control. Most importantly, I promise to secure the United States' position as the global hub of cryptocurrency, innovation, and entrepreneurship, and investment, and technology. As a lifelong environmentalist, I embrace Bitcoin as a mechanism for incentivizing greater investment in green and renewable energy production. After the time I spent with Bitcoiners last year, I left the Miami conference so enthralled with optimism and excitement about Bitcoin and its potential to eliminate the national debt as a hedge against inflation, its promise to guarantee personal freedom, to restore the American middle class, to end government corruption, to defund the war machine, and to protect our environment. And I happened just before that, at Miami convention, I got a big check from the fees from winning the Monsanto case. And I took most of that check, which represented the largest portion of my personal wealth, and I invested it all in Bitcoin.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know about that.
I didn't know that.
I did not know about that.
I didn't either. And he said it was a very significant amount. I'm sure it's
from
public
Monsanto,
record.
So I'm sure it was.
Because he be like tens of millions.
He was suing a lot of companies, big pharma companies.
I didn't do that.
For what?
With hopes for a quick.
A lot of it just
like his throat.
No, vaccine, a bunch of stuff. Like he was.
Bunch of stuff we're not allowed to talk about on here. That type of stuff.
Return on investment. I was told
probably not kosher.
A long time. And you might have to have a lot of anxiety.
Yeah, the YouTube overlords might destroy us.
I was prepared for that.
YouTube overlords hit us with that ad real quick on that
Larry
ass.
Smith. We got Larry Smith, aka Carlos Diaz.
What up, Carlos Diaz? What's going on, bro? Good to see you.
But if that had been my sole motive,
that's the infamous Carlos, Lamborghini Carlos.
I got in it with good timing.
One that Ben went to his house and ran
even further down the rabbit hole. Let me put it, the orange rabbit hole. I'm convinced now more than ever And we have to work together to put all these proposals into action immediately. America's at a crossroads. We can either continue down the path we are on, racking up debt, constricting freedom, addicted to war, or we can look forward to use new technologies like Bitcoin to help us evolve, to achieve again our promise as a moral authority and the world's exemplar for incorruptible democratic governance.
Can you pause, Rice? Because I do need to jump off here, but I just wanted to say, like, with him talking about incorruptible money, bringing back the actual democracy and taking away some of the, you know, there's obviously the ability for them to be able to see transactions that are happening. It's the blockchain. Obviously, everybody knows that.
Right.
But ultimately, I don't think that he's wrong. We are pushing so hard in the other direction towards what China is doing, right? We continue to push farther and farther and farther into what China is doing or into what they're already doing to their people. And we don't want to go there. We don't want to have the trucker incident. We don't want to have any of that. And I think they've been pushing so hard against Bitcoin for so long. And I think it was like this train that they knew that they weren't going to be able to stop, but they wanted to try to slow it down as long as possible to be able to get themselves positioned to be able to either take advantage of it financially or figure out how the hell can we continue, or how can we really govern this, tax this, and monitor this. And I think they finally now, because BlackRock got, I really think that's what it was. They wanted BlackRock to be able to get themselves positioned. They wanted to be able to make money off of it. They wanted to figure out how they were going to tax it. And now that they figured out all of that, okay, cool. Now you guys can go live with it. And Blood and I were talking about this morning. The charts look funky, dude. They're acting weird.
The way Bitcoin is acting the last 3 days is
but it's not just
strange.
Bitcoin. It's not just Bitcoin. I mean, apparently a lot of stocks are down. I forget whose earnings report came in. It was Amazon's earnings report, and they were supposed, from what I heard, I haven't looked, they were off by 0.5% on their revenue. By half a
Dow
percentage.
Jones down 1.8%. NASDAQ
everything's hitting down. I'm just not sure. I don't think this is the final.
NASDAQ down.
I don't think this is the final, but I think we're getting closer to that point. So everything will lift back up. But
I agree with that. I just think there's games being played in the process.
But also, let me say this, and Blood will attest to this. You need to start learning about this channel called Waters Above. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's astrology and numerology and other stuff, but just from the astrological side, which is big in the finance game. Every fucking like hedge fund, all these major players, they even the Federal Reserve seems to time their fucking meetings around like the lunar cycles and shit. Well, Sunday, August the 4th is a new moon, and every August is generally pretty negative for Bitcoin. August and going into September is pretty negative for Bitcoin. So I still think we have that leg down. I told you we have the 59 CME gap that needs to be filled. I think
that won't surprise me at all. Yeah.
I think there's one at 39, but I don't see us going below 50. I don't see us going there, but who the fuck knows? But then that is off to the races, in my opinion.
Well, gents, speaking of off to the races, I am off to the races. I appreciate you guys.
Let's do this again, man.
Yeah, let's get together
definitely
soon.
Come back on,
Rice,
bro.
it was good seeing you in person. Blood, sad you didn't make it, but look forward to seeing you guys soon.
All right, man. Thanks for joining us.
Sounds good.
Chat, make sure to smash that like on the way out or on the way in if you haven't already. I love you guys. We'll see you soon.
Appreciate you, Keeper. Much love.
Thanks.
All right. Wow.
Yeah.
Just the two of us.
So far, best of the three. Let's keep going.
Yeah, he's definitely good at talking. It's just the voice, and a lot of people still can't get past it. I mean, I have my moments where I get used to it, but it's still it's there.
The Siam rule. We'll talk about that. Will. I'm going to do a video about that.
I'm not the only one talking about Bitcoin in this year's election. Nothing could make me more joyful than to see other political leaders now jumping on the Bitcoin bandwagon. I've had over a year's head start to study, to understand, to articulate the potential of Bitcoin. And my goal as the first Bitcoin president will be to enact policies that will make America the world's greatest representative for Bitcoin and a proponent of its democratic values. I grew up assuming that America would always maintain its status as the world leader, the leader of the free world. But ever since the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1993, we've paradoxically been moving in a declining spiral away from that role. Hubris, military adventurism, and corruption have put America's political and economic power in precipitous decline. Our dollar is rapidly losing its reserve currency status because we've weaponized it against other countries. When we disagree with the policies of another country, we kick them off the SWIFT system, and we debanked them. As a predictable result of that strategy, the BRICS nations are now in the process of de-dollarizing, like getting off the petrodollar. They realize that trading their commodities and other hard resources for money that is printed out of thin air is a losing proposition. This trend will likely accelerate until we make the tough transition toward backing our debt obligations with hard assets again. I have a plan to strengthen the US dollar and lower the interest rates and neutralize our $34 trillion debt by backing US Treasury bills, notes, and bonds with hard assets, including a combination of precious metals and Bitcoin. Backing US debt obligations by collateralizing them with hard assets not only restores strength to the dollar, it reins in inflation, and it will usher in a new era of American financial stability, prosperity, and peace. The world needs to believe that we have safely handcuffed our government and its ability to create money out of thin air with no proof of work. The innovative strategy that I am proposing leverages the scarcity and liquidity of Bitcoin, along with gold and other hard assets, to restore the dollar's dominance in global finance. The world will rush to adopt an American-backed, decentralized currency that cannot be confiscated by governments, that can be traded and transacted on cell phones at the speed of light across every global border with no banking fees or other transactional friction. This incorruptible currency will immediately start pulling wealth and assets from every other nation around the globe back into the United States, restoring the strength of our dollar and repairing our balance of payments. 6 months before his assassination, my uncle John F. President John F. Kennedy signed an executive order that put silver coins in competition with the notes issued by the Fed. Mm-hmm. His intention was to rein in Fed discretion. He had been a critic of Fed policy.
He wanted to rein in the Fed, and the Fed rained on him.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's, I think, part of it. There's other things.
There's other stuff. Yeah.
Cuba, part of it, I think.
Cuba, and then I heard that who he was dating at the time. What's the actress at that
Marilyn
time?
Monroe.
Marilyn Monroe was involved in
mob-related things, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
So who the hell knows?
And he hoped to end the discretionary monetary policy and the inevitable debasement of the U.S. dollar. He understood that a highly leveraged economy leads directly to the destructive kind of wealth inequality that is today eroding American democracy and generating violence and division and discontent and hopelessness. Notably, after my uncle's assassination, the government immediately stopped issuing those silver coins and power returned to the Fed. My uncle apparently understood the potential for the Fed to evolve itself into a tyranny. Bitcoin has the potential to return monetary discipline to the Fed and to restore the dollar as the unchallenged global reserve currency. And just as Bitcoin can fortify the dollar, it can also secure America's position in cyberspace. I understand that tomorrow President Trump may announce his plan to build a Bitcoin Fort Knox and authorize the U.S. government to buy 1 million Bitcoin as a strategic reserve asset. And I applaud that announcement.
So he knew about
this.
this.
I hope that President Trump's commitment to Bitcoin is more than political expediency. The most cynical political reason for endorsing Bitcoin is to excite the 60 million Bitcoin American holders by policies that make the number go up. But it's my hope that President Trump and the DNC nominee, who he or she may be, will develop a deeper understanding of the earth-shaking reasons to ensure that Bitcoin has a strategic reserve in the U.S. Treasury. The most compelling of those reasons is laid out in U.S.-based former major Jason Lowery's MIT thesis entitled Software. Major Lowery points out that Bitcoin has been mischaracterized as money, when in fact it is a cyber defense system that will protect our online identities and data in cyberspace. Just as we have an Air Force to protect our skies and a Navy to protect our seas, Bitcoin can protect us against potential cyber attacks. It is a cyber defense weapon and a classic example of.
Okay, so this is something new. We were just debating about whether Bitcoin is money or currency, and now it's neither. Round of applause. It's a cyber security. What did he say?
Let me take it back, because it was right there, right?
Yeah.
2440. So I'll take it back to like 20.
Yeah.
Just as we have an Air Force to protect our skies and a Navy to protect our seas, Bitcoin can protect us against potential cyber attacks. It is a cyber defense weapon and a classic example of unrecognized use. Here's an analogous example. The Chinese invented gunpowder.
A cyber defense weapon. Yeah.
That's a reach. Help me understand.
Well, I think he's going to try to explain this. It is kind of a reach, but let's see where he's going with it.
And then they used it as medicine for 200 years before other countries recognized that it was the most potent tool for power projection. Today, the popularly assumed use of Bitcoin is money. But Bitcoin is also a power projection weapon that can protect our currency and everything that we do online from cyber attacks. The first country that recognizes this function will be the new global superpower.
I still don't understand it. Because I would like build on Bitcoin and on the small block Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and listen to Laurie. That's the professor that came up with this concept. So we'll have to go check that out.
We need to grab the reins and harness Bitcoin's full potential if we want to regain and consolidate our title as leader of the free world. Based on public information, the USA currently owns 204,000 Bitcoins, the fifth largest Bitcoin wallet in the world. Adding Bitcoin to that reserve will help secure the future of the United States for the next 150 years. One of my first hires in the Kennedy administration would be Major Lowry as my top advisor. As my top advisor for my national security team. Another important use of Bitcoin for America and the world is the one that is dearest to my heart, capturing carbon and incentivizing green energy production through Bitcoin mining. I served for 40 years as an environmental champion and for a decade as a partner in the green tech venture capital firm Vantage Point, which is the #1 green tech energy and technology firm in the world. I played key roles in developing some of the world's largest solar and wind power generation projects. Critics of Bitcoin have wrongly cast it as an environmental threat because of its high energy demand. The opposite, of course, is true. Bitcoin miners are more sensitive to energy pricing than any other industry. This means that they can only survive in the marketplace by utilizing the cheapest energy, and that invariably means waste energy and surplus power. For example, methane from landfills would otherwise go into the atmosphere, but Bitcoin miners are uniquely able to harness it as an energy source. Bitcoin mining is also the ideal partner for renewable energy and variable power projects like wind and solar. My personal experience in energy project finance left me with a deep appreciation for the critical potential for Bitcoin mining as a reliable profit center for renewable energy projects that need flexible on-site, off-peak customers for intermittent energy generation in order to get financing. Bitcoin miners are the ideal partners for these kind of projects. All right, let's lean into some of the other ways that Bitcoin is good for Americans and for America. President Nixon took us off the gold standard in 1971 to finance the Vietnam War. Since then, the dollar's purchasing power has been in precipitous decline, eroding savings and earnings of everyday Americans. Alan Greenspan, who was the chair of the Fed for 20 years, even warned that, quote, in the absence of a gold standard, there is no way to prevent savings from confiscation through inflation, end quote. Inflation, as we all know, is theft, and it's almost always theft from the poor.
I am running to be president of the United States.
Oh, hell no!
Me in this fight. So I am asking you to pitch in to help me.
Get this shit off the screen, Rice!
We have a lot of work to do and just about 100 days to do it. So the earlier you chip in, the greater your impact will be. These are not ordinary times, and this will not be
I feel you. I'm sorry.
This is about our future.
I had to pee, but why, like, forcing? Why would it suggest that to me?
Rice, because man, you know the game is rigged, okay? You know
the algo's forcing shit on me that I don't want.
It's forcing it, bro.
I'm sorry. I apologize to everybody. Please don't unsubscribe from our channels because of
maybe that'll get us some subscribers. They hear her voice and then think we're pro Obama.
Good old Obama. Shout out to Blind Dave Crypto.
Shout out to Blind Dave. Good to see him in here.
I'll try to continue us on.
The Fed has engineered an uber-efficient money printing machine
to
perpetrate the systematic robbery that has gutted the American middle class and decimated America's working poor. The obscene money printing has drained our citizens of their purchasing power through the hidden tax of inflation. And it was the Trump and Biden administration's reckless embrace of money printing that have pushed the middle class over the tipping point now. American households are now buckling under this rain. Let's look at it simply. If you had $1,000 6 years ago, that $1,000 has a value of $520 today in terms of its capacity to purchase goods and services. Mortgages have doubled in 4 years. No wonder half of the 18 to 30-year-olds are still living at home, unable to afford the homes that provide the first step toward the American dream. No wonder our younger Americans are marrying later, delaying or even abandoning the choice to start a family. Their dwindling purchasing power forces them into these sacrifices. The hopelessness of the task of steadily growing savings, which we all assumed that was just part of our lives, it has pushed. And now today, this generation is facing these moving goalposts. They make money, they think they're doing well, and then the money disappears. And not for anything they did, but because of inflation. And it has pushed this whole generation into a kind of financial nihilism. And it's contributed to the epidemics of depression, of suicide, of hopelessness, of alienation, of dispossession, of the loss of pride in our country, the loss of hope for their own generation and their own futures among young Americans. Healthcare costs are also increasing exponentially. I talked a couple of months ago with a young New Hampshire couple, and they told me with tears in their eyes how they had gotten in an argument, the husband and wife, holding a crying baby in their arms at night and having to wonder about whether that baby was $50 sick or $100 sick or $500 sick before they brought him to the emergency room. Over half of Americans cannot put their hands on $1,000 if they have an emergency. If you are part of that cohort and the engine light goes on in your car, it is the apocalypse because you know you're not going to be able to afford the mechanic. You won't be able to get to work. You won't be able to pay your rent, and then you're going to be out on the sidewalk. And that decile has ended up with this army, tent encampments in the cities that I live in Los Angeles, New York, San Francisco, and all over the country, where armies of Americans, of hardworking Americans, are now living because the engine light came on in their car, or they got 2 flat tires at once, or they had some other expense that was unanticipated. Walk outside and you're going to see it. Time and again, I'm hearing from elderly Americans about how they cut their prescription pills in two to make them last to the end of the week. They're choosing between gasoline and home heating oil and food. So many mothers have told me that they're downgrading ingredients to get out the grocery store checkout line. Americans today are being forced to make these gut-wrenching decisions because our money is broken. With a beleaguered American middle class, Bitcoin is the off-ramp from the inflation highway of doom. If the world were on a Bitcoin standard and our money held its value, we would all have the ability to live more abundant lives. Bitcoiners have it right. Fix the money, fix the world.
Hell yeah.
The discipline of trying our dollars, hard assets like Bitcoin, will also finally break our addiction to forever wars. Fiat currency was invented to fund war. As I pointed out just now, President Nixon got us off the gold standard in 1971 because printing fiat currency was the only way to continually finance the Vietnam War. Prior to fiat currency, when a country ran out of money, the war would end. Or if a government wanted to fund a war, it would issue war bonds and borrow the money from its citizens, or it would tell them in advance, we're going to tax you. Today, governments don't need to even ask that permission. They just print the money. And then they fund the war with fake money. If the world was on a Bitcoin standard, then there would be no war because the governments can't print Bitcoin.
Right.
I'm a proponent of Bitcoin because it can defund the military-industrial complex that is bent not on national defense, but on international global domination. And I'll say this, during the height of the Cold War, the military budget was about $500 billion in 2024 dollars. Today, it's double that. Why do we need twice the money that we needed during the height of the Cold War? Well, we need it because it has nothing to do with national defense. It has to do with global hegemony and international domination that is actually counterproductive. It's bankrupting us at home. And
Confessions of an Economic Hitman.
It has destroyed our relationships.
I saw him on...
let me say it again.
What's the guy podcast?
Who, the author of that book?
Yeah, I saw him on... I was literally watching it yesterday. He was interviewed on...
Yeah, I need to reread
Concrete.
It. It's been a while.
Concrete.
Oh, cool.
That Concrete dude.
Same guy.
I forgot his name.
Same guy interviewed our buddy, right?
Who?
Yeah, Judge.
No. That's Art of Dialogue.
Oh.
Yeah. Concrete. You've seen Concrete.
Yeah, but I think there's different. I think
it's a white dude.
Yeah, I know, but I think he also he has multiple channels.
He doesn't call it Concrete anymore. It's his name. I can't remember his name though right now.
Rebranded or something.
He rebranded. Yep.
Yeah, I think I
just saw that guy on there yesterday.
Interesting, because I mean that kind of describes a lot of how we would go in and infiltrate other nations and destroy them using the monetary system and economics.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucking
He had
crazy.
a quite interesting story. I never read the book, but I was listening to him on the podcast, and a couple attempted assassinations on his life. Very interesting.
Yeah, no,
watch it. I'm gonna send you a link to it.
I told you I want to take a little vacation sometime in the next 30-ish days, I'm hoping, and unplugging, and that was one of the books that I was going to bring with me.
Okay.
Yeah, unplug,
I
and
might have to add that one to my list too.
Yeah, it's a good one. Need to reread. It's been a hot minute. It's been probably about, I'm thinking about like 12 years since I read that book. But let's go ahead and finish.
If governments couldn't print money with a couple of keystrokes on a computer, they wouldn't be able to fund wars that never end. Again, fix the money, fix the world. And make no mistake, one of the main reasons my administration will fix our broken money is to defund the war machine. To reach that goal, I'm going to support making direct ownership of Bitcoin tax-free. The conversion of Bitcoin back into dollars will be non-reportable transaction to the IRS and not subject to capital gains. The conversion of Bitcoin back into dollars will be non-reportable transaction to the IRS and not subject to capital gains. The conversion of Bitcoin back into dollars will be non-reportable transaction to the IRS and not subject to capital gains.
Fuck the IRS.
We have to remember that the Fourth Amendment guarantees the right to privacy. As a constitutionalist, I'm adamant defender of our right to financial and transactional privacy. When U.S. citizens are required to report every Bitcoin transaction to the IRS, the government knows everything that we are doing with our money. Governments have no business knowing your business. More importantly, making the direct ownership of Bitcoin tax-free creates financial incentive to own Bitcoin and not a Bitcoin ETF, which is a security and therefore subject to capital gains. This is crucial because direct ownership of Bitcoin keeps it decentralized. And that is the only way to prevent BlackRock and other global asset managers from having undue influence over the Bitcoin network, over its forks, and over its upgrades. In 2014, the IRS declared Bitcoin to be property and regulated the purchase and sale as a capital transaction. It's important to understand that this tax law was never passed by Congress, and it was never signed into law by the President of the United States. The IRS and the SEC simply usurped government power in order to suppress decentralized financial democracy.
Wow, I didn't
know that. The U.S. Supreme Court recently, of the Chevron doctrine, reopens that decision.
Did you know that, Rice?
Changing technology is targeting fast
What did he say?
Meet Flippy.
Did you know that
kitchen
the IRS and SEC made Bitcoin property and I guess set it up for taxation in that manner without even going through the Congress, Senate?
Right. I think because it's also a thing, like the government itself can't 100% agree about what Bitcoin is. Because I thought
they just usurped the government altogether.
I thought the IRS deemed it a commodity.
Like commodity.
Like gold and silver.
No, the CFTC did. Another government agency.
Right. And that decision has allowed freedom-fighting Bitcoiners to challenge the constitutionality of taxing Bitcoin before the 2024 year. I'm telling you today that I will never, ever sign a law that taxes direct ownership of Bitcoin.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
I will use my power to reverse any law that does so. I will end the Biden administration's war on Bitcoin. Actually, Bitcoin is not only critical for citizens' financial autonomy, freedom, and privacy, it is essential to keep it decentralized and democratic as Satoshi created it to be. Finally, Bitcoin guarantees property rights. With freely transactable Bitcoin, no government will be able to confiscate or tax your wealth at the border. This is another example of Bitcoin's potency as a weapon against totalitarianism. So as this election cycle starts to heat up, you have choices to make. You've heard what I propose to do. Let's compare that to what my Republican opponent proposes. And I welcome President Trump's new enthusiasm for Bitcoin, but he's only weeks into the Bitcoin dialogue. And I have the advantage of being here longer. And hopefully his learning curve will mirror the kind that I went through. My guess is that initially at least, there's going to be a lot of talk about pricing.
He's basically like saying, well, he's a noob and I'm not. And hopefully he'll catch up as quickly as I did. But I'm a lot more experienced to talk about Bitcoin and crypto.
For sure. Yep.
And how a change in government policies can make Bitcoiners wealthy. But we all know that that is just one of the minor points of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is about something much bigger. Bitcoin is about our souls. It's about our values. The price go up feature is the least of all of its attributes. President Trump has a long way to go to explain how his personal values align with those of Bitcoiners. If he doesn't do that, then we don't really have any assurance, do we, that his endorsement is not another ephemeral monetary policy fad du jour. That assurance will require him to repudiate some of the central policies of his last administration. During his years in the White House, President Trump had consistently spoke out against Bitcoin. In December of 2020, he was openly hostile to Bitcoin and tried to outlaw self-custody wallets. This was a time when Americans, particularly more than any time in our history, needed any store of value that they could get to compensate for the hits.
No, Cynthia Lummis, she also has been on bills that she either helped to sponsor in bipartisan efforts or that she was included in that were basically she's very pro KYC AML. So it wouldn't surprise me because Donald Trump, now nobody said they're going to take away your self-custody, but as far as whether or not they're going to be like identify yourself, citizen, I think that's a different story. No, they could definitely still add the KYC element. So if you send to another wallet, you can't send from an anonymous wallet. Right. You can have your private keys, but it's not allowed to be anonymous. I mean, it's kind of like a give and take, but just some food for thought.
To their income from the lockdowns, from the declining purchasing power due to the money printing orgy and the COVID closures of all of our businesses. In 2021, President Trump doubled down and declared that Bitcoin, it just seems like a scam. I don't like it because it's another currency competing against the dollar. I'm happy that President Trump has had this evolution.
We might have to do
I'm
a
proud that I
reaction
helped blaze
video
a trail
to
that made it easier for other political leaders to follow. And
yeah, no, he's pretty interesting. Oh, speaking of black and not black and all that, that what is it called? The North American Black Journalists Association.
Yeah.
NABJ. So the chick in the blue, I was arguing with somebody. Well, that's what Trump asked. Trump asked if she was. But
she is, actually.
Okay, so I believe if I understood it correctly, she stepped down today.
Damn. Round of applause. That's what I'm
She was rude. She was very, very.
She came out the gate swinging.
And I brought up like me interviewing Brock Pierce. I didn't come out of the gate swinging it.
Right.
But a half hour into it, Brock's like, you have successfully asked me went over every bad criticism somebody could have of me.
Right.
But I didn't do it out the gate.
Now, so I know of the lady to the far right, the black lady that was all the way to the far right. She's actually a conservative anchor on Fox. So,
much love. Beefed up.
Beefed up. Or beefed up. I just say beefed up.
It could be beefed up. Yeah.
For algorithms. Yeah, man.
Yeah. So what were you saying?
Oh wow. No, I was just saying the lady to the far right was a conservative or is a conservative anchor.
Yeah, and they were cool. But, and then the way Donald Trump handled himself was cool. But that thing has got people like saying he was racist.
Of course, they're gonna say that.
It's like how this country is so fucked.
We're so fucked up, bro.
It made me think about that last night. We are fucked. I say that in the nicest way, viewers. But if you've been watching our channel for years, I think you understand that all things lead to we are fucked. Not all roads lead to Rome. All things lead to we are fucked. But we can't unfuck the fuckery once we've been fucked. Just so everybody's aware, we can unfuck
Ladies
it.
and gentlemen, our plan to be cleaned, have clean speech.
Unfuckable.
It just went out the door, man. Next time, let's not plan to do it. That's what we are.
So beautiful. All right. That man just is dirty rice and dirty blood. We can't help it. Parental warning. It should be tattooed on our foreheads.
I'm grateful to the 50 or 60 million Bitcoiners like Michael Saylor, who were there before me and helped me understand the nation-saving potential of Bitcoin. Every Bitcoiner I know shares my own yearning for freedom, or my skepticism toward official orthodoxies and pronouncements, and an inclination for critical thinking that I most admire. During COVID, neither President Trump nor President Biden protected our constitutional rights. They both restricted our right to assemble, to worship. They closed our churches, no funeral for grandma, no weddings. They closed our businesses without due process or just compensation, in violation of the Fifth Amendment. They ended the Seventh Amendment right to jury trials. They assaulted the Fourth Amendment prohibition against warrantless searches and seizures, and also both these administrations allowed the FBI and the spy agencies to suppress our rights to free speech by working with social media companies to deplatform people who criticize government policies. I hope that President Trump's change of heart in Bitcoin is evidence of a newfound and deep-seated commitment to personal freedoms, to our Constitution, to our Bill of Rights. Will President Trump fight for Bitcoin if he's elected? I wish he had mentioned Bitcoin in the RNC speech last week. I'm disappointed. He spent a lot of last week attacking President Bukele of El Salvador, the only country on a Bitcoin standard.
Bukele.
President Bukele is the most popular president in El Salvador's history. And with Bitcoin's help, he has turned the country around. Bitcoin helped him grow the economy and reduce crime. The U.S. should want to take a page from President Bukele's playbook and learn some of the lessons that he has to teach us.
Every time I hear
people ask
Bukele, I think of Bukaka. What is it called? Bukaki?
Chris, if you could only take one supplement for the rest of your life, which one would it be?
It's where a female gets covered in. Actually, I'll give you.
Yes.
I think I got a really good. It'll be on blood side of the screen is an example of Bukaki.
What? Don't put that shit up on my. Don't put that up on my side.
Well,
flip us, and then you can do.
It's always
you can drag us around and do it over there, bro. I don't want to see that shit. Oh my god. I'm sure Mr. Carlos Diaz would enjoy that one.
Actually, and you can't actually. If I do a full screen share, what it's called, the name of that image, it's
Bukaki.
BB Bukaki. So like BitBoy Bukaki. That's what I call the image. You can see it. I'll do the screen share and show everybody. And just for the point of it, I'm going to do a full screen share, entire screen.
Oh my god!
Everybody can see right here. It's titled BB Bukaki, right? You see it?
I think you spelled it wrong, but okay, I get the point.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess, are you the expert in spelling Bukaki? How is it spelled?
No.
How is it spelled there? Correct me, my friend.
No, I don't think that's how it's spelled, bro.
Okay, well, how do you spell it? I'm asking.
I can't. It ends with an E, I think.
Yeah, I think I got it right, except for the ending. It's not an I, it's an E.
Yeah, I think it's an E. Yeah, it's an E.
Interesting party to show up late to. Very awkward moment, maybe, too.
Very horrible point to come through, Mr. Sakila.
Joining the show, we're like talking about Bukakis over here.
And even more alarming, President Trump, in an interview last month with Bloomberg, floated the idea of bringing on Jamie Dimon as his Secretary of Treasury. I'm grateful that President Trump yesterday walked back that comment, but I'm not sure how he could have ever considered bringing on one of the biggest long-time critics of Bitcoin and the world's ultimate advocate for centralized control, if he truly is committed in his soul to the freedom and decentralization that we all are committed to. Those choices don't match the spiritual alignment of Bitcoin. Bitcoin represents. I mean, personally, I would rather see somebody like Michael Saylor or Caitlin Long as Treasury Secretary.
No, what is this again? Idiocracy?
They are brilliant. They are encyclopedic. They're forward-thinking. They deeply love our country, and they represent the ideals of decentralization and economic democracy. Finally, President Trump has had 4 years to pardon Ross Ulbricht and Julian Assange and Edward Snowden, and he didn't do it. And we need to ask ourselves why. I've already looked into those cases, and I plan on pardoning them all on day one.
Well, you don't have to with the funds. I mean, all you want to do is what?
Oh.
Pardon his case.
Oh, in this election year, I encourage you to study your
Pardon
choices.
his deal.
Look at the candidate's policy, but more importantly, look at their actions to decide if they are genuinely part of the problem or if they're part of the solution. Decide if they align with what you believe in your heart. Remember, Americans need, and remember what Americans need and what we want, and then vote accordingly. I want to leave you today with a core belief in Bitcoin, in the Bitcoin community. Bitcoin is the currency of freedom, the currency of liberty, the currency of hope. It restores self-sovereignty back to the individual, which is the whole purpose of American democracy. It gives us digital property rights, which is the core of our democracy. And it provides a store of value that will allow middle-class Americans to live in abundance again. I want to be the president who can bring back hope. And I'm grateful to be part of your Bitcoin community. In fact, I don't think of myself as red. I don't think of myself as blue. And I don't even think of myself as purple. Those are the colors of the political parties. Instead, I think of myself as orange.
Oh, orange, man. There's no spray tanning. Turn yourself orange, sir. Prove it. Put your orange where your mouth is.
That is the color of freedom. And it's true that President Trump has orange.
Well, tell the motherfuckers in jail wearing orange.
Hair.
That's
and
the color of the Hoovers, too.
From afar. I'll never be able to match him on that.
So the color of freedom.
It's a really great start. But I have an orange heart, and that's what you should support. Thank you all very much, and God bless you.
All right.
Orange jump boots and all kinds of shit.
So that speech was so great.
Orange mans are multiplying. They're like gremlins. Don't feed them after midnight and put water on them.
It's like baby kids. They don't die, they multiply. I gotta change my I have to change the rubric scale for Bitcoin speeches now. And adjust Mr. Trump's grade of a B-.
What I gave him a B-, didn't I? Or B+?
No.
A-?
A-. I gave him a B-.
Well, I would definitely give
him an A-.
I would give him a 100%, 100% A.
A plus.
A plus.
A.
Plus.
A plus.
As far as catering to the crypto community, yes.
I gotta reduce my man Trump down, bro. He's got to get a C-. So I can get RFK in there, Junior. Got to get RFK in there to give him about an A. I'm gonna give him an A, solid A. I got to give Trump a C- now. Got to revise that grade. Sorry, student.
Yeah, I think this is you might see a little bit of stuff here. I'm gonna try to mute this. I'm gonna pull it up on screen, so if you could bear with me, because I still find this ironic. I was talking to a guy, a Canadian, that works for Mark Moss, and we were talking about Kennedy, and I was like, "Did you see one of the guys that had a Kennedy bus that's on top of the bus throwing out shirts?" And he's this bus right here, where the guy with the flag was. I want to see what more bus action. That's Ben Askren there, with the kids climbing all over them. Those kids are like monkeys. They're funny kids. They're climbing in and out of that. But this is Kyle Kemper stuff, and you know Kyle Kemper is. It's just ironic to know that you have Justin Trudeau's half brother out promoting Kennedy, like driving a Kennedy bus, taking his family around the country, promoting Kennedy. That's his wife. That's him. You know, he's good friends with Bobby, and I just find it to be very intriguing that this bus is being driven by Justin Trudeau's brother. I love Kyle.
Is Amina down there?
No, she's
Amina there.
No, she's in Canada.
Oh, she's back in Canada.
Yeah, so there's the shirts that he was throwing off the bus. Yeah, she helped with the birthing process, I believe, with Kyle's wife's last pregnancy. She seems to be a baby factory. they're making lots of babies. It was like as soon as I saw the van, I saw the little blonde hair kids climbing in and out of the window. It was like, there's Kyle's kids.
That's cool.
They're cool little kids, though. I mean, they're really cool little kids. I'm not saying anything negative. It's just like you could tell these kids are having fun. You know, they're in a very loving situation, which is always positive. So before we wrap things up,
do you have to adjust Trump's grade now, or you keep it at an A-?
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be unfair for me to go back and change a grade after I've given the grade. That would be that would be wrong. It's like Indian, like an Indian giver.
Indian give? Oh God. That's.
It's no.
I was told when I said Indian give,
they have the same mother, and I think they were born. I think Kyle was like, or Justin was like 12 when Kyle was born. So it's not like they exactly grew up together, but they're still brothers nonetheless. If you Google,
when I said Indian give a few years ago,
research him, it'll come up saying Justin Trudeau's brother. That's like his title on social media. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying when I said Indian give a couple years ago, I think you were on the stream with me, possibly. I was told it was very offensive to say that. So
yeah, well, I mean, I think at this point we aim to be offensive, don't we?
There you go.
I mean, if we're gonna go with the flow, just go with it all the way, you know?
Yeah.
You can try to keep me. You can try to keep me tame, and I'll be the offender.
I have to reduce or change Trump's vote. Not vote, but
another word would be what? Reneging. You familiar with that term too?
Very familiar with re-niggers.
Same thing is kind of like an Indian giver. I don't know I don't know the white slang for it. What?
Re-niggers, man. That's a good one, bro. Oh my God. So yeah, I gotta get Trump.
I've never referred to it in that sense. I referred to it in the sense that I said, which I didn't know that the renege part went in that direction. You took it there, sir. I'm just thinking like Nigeria or something.
Oh my God. Yeah, I gotta reduce it, man. He gotta get a C. I'll give him a C. I'll give Trump a C. I gotta give RFKJ an A-.
I mean, it's if you look at it overall with if you're just thinking about words make sense. But if you're thinking about like being a good like magician politician, like Trump owned it. Trump is just he's so good at public speaking. It's like and that's most of this shit is just talk anyways. I mean, that's why he's
actually not a great public speaker.
He seems to be. He seems to own
it. He's just comedic and it's natural. He's not the best public speaker. RFKJ is a better public speaker. Obama is a better public speaker. Think about it.
They say better things, but they don't have the same charisma that comes with it.
There you go. That's the word you're looking for.
Maybe it's magic.
Charisma. They don't have charisma. Trump gets a A+ in the charisma category for sure. Round of applause.
Yeah, I thought that word was French. Renage. Yeah. French word. I just mispronounced it. That was all.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely found it to be, like I said, I don't think that he stands a chance in the election. I think it would be right. I think it would be the right thing to do. Not that it's going to, that the politicians are going to do the right thing, but I don't see how we're assuming that Kamala just has a Democratic nomination. Like, why isn't there other people?
Because she's been selected.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but we don't get to choose. Like, so that's where the selection process is. We're going to give you a turd sandwich and a big douche. A turd sandwich.
Well, they're the biggest ones to do this. If you recall, the DNC pretty much booted Sanders. I thought Sanders was a better call than Biden, and they just booted this.
I know. If it was me, like, I mean, if I was like a Democrat and cared about the Democratic Party, I would be raising a fuss and saying there needs to be.
I don't know how these. This is what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand how people are Democrats. Like, I'm seriously offensive.
I'm
seriously offended at people that call themselves Democrats, because you are the antithesis of our democracy.
It's black and white too. It's so fucking polarized, like we were saying. It's just so black and white. It's like
because they're Democrats aren't
blue team.
Yeah, Democrats aren't Crips and Bloods. That's what it said. Democrats aren't in an upheaval about Kamala just being selected. Democrats weren't in an upheaval about them just basically pushing RFK out, which I think was the best candidate on the Democratic side. You know, Sanders.
I mean, if
Tulsi Gabbard.
If RFK
they just eliminate everybody.
If RFK is polled so well, you think that they would want him to represent the Democratic Party? You think they would want to get somebody that actually can legitimately beat Trump?
Exactly.
And if it came down to
RFK could have legitimately beat Trump.
If he became the Democratic nominee and had all that fucking power, like all that whole fucking force behind him, yes,
he would have beat Trump.
Because there's a lot of people, I think, that want to vote for
Sanders.
Trump.
Would have beat Trump.
I don't know about that.
That's how you know. That's how you know it's not about who can beat who. It's a selection. Like, they have their candidate. They have it, and that's who they go with.
That's why people call it a selection process.
But they don't do that on the Republican side. I'm not trying to pit one against the other. But at least the Republicans don't do that shit, man.
How many Republicans ran against? Like, who tried to be the Republican nominee besides Trump?
Oh, many.
I mean,
Nikki Haley.
It was like a normal.
But they faded out in a Democratic, like, you know what I'm saying? Right. Like, it was like a competitive, real race.
It was like that before. It seemed like with the Democratic Party years
before
what? Before Hillary Clinton ran against Trump in 2016. Yes. It seemed like there was some semblance of normalcy at that point.
Yes. I think 16 changed everything for the DNC. They went downhill. They really lost it.
And definitely uniparty.
They really
right wing, left wing, same bird. So what do you got planned for next week? Anything special?
Not as of yet. We'll see what's going on.
I know we're doing Wednesday
today, Friday?
with Seth. Yeah, we're doing Wednesday with Seth. Monday, you're doing your giveaway.
Yes.
Wednesday,
we're doing 2X giveaway. We're giving away $100. 50 to 2 people. Yes. And
then Wednesday, I think we talked about doing kind of like a what if scenario, like a what if Kamala wins, what if Trump wins, what if there's no election and the military gets involved.
I'm scared if Obama wins. That's a worse scenario than Trump winning.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you.
Okay.
I'm already like getting ready to like absolve myself from certain people because of it.
I got you.
Which I don't generally.
I'm reading.
Generally don't do that. Generally don't do those kind of things. So.
So.
But everything's become so polarized.
It's going to be a very bad situation if she wins. Because I'm telling you, the people on the right, or the MAGA, whoever you want to call it, they ain't having it, bro. Now, if Trump wins, come on. Trump should have won. He damn near got assassinated.
Yeah, but if Trump does win, just be ready for the pendulum to swing back to the right, just like it did with the left side. So just look for a lot of conservative things to be taking place. Very like Christian what? Conservative. Like, it really wouldn't surprise me. Bro. They make it illegal to work on Sundays. I mean, certain things to that effect. Like, really wouldn't surprise me if they just shut.
Did I drop or did Rice drop, ladies and gents? I can't tell. Someone give me a chat. Let's see if I'm still live over here. Can you guys? It looks like Rice might have gone down. Talking too much truth, ladies and gents. Too much truth. Trump reneging. Rice reneging. Wow. This is crazy, ladies and gentlemen. But anyway, I don't have control to get things ended here. So, looks like we're getting them back now.
Yeah, I lost my internet. Like, I'm straight lost my internet.
Oh, man. Wow.
So,
you're speaking too much truth, Rice.
I don't know what was going on there, but yeah.
Mr. Tequila said you're reneging. Maybe.
It feels like it. I'm on my phone, though, obviously. Yeah, this is kind of shitty. This is very shitty. Yeah. But I can end the stream and all that from here. That's the good thing I will tell you about StreamYard, because if that would have happened otherwise, it looks like I'm reconnecting to the internet.
Would have been done.
I would have been done.
Yep.
1 second. I think we're back.
Memories with Mike said he lost his internet earlier.
Dude, we had they said a third-party fiber optic issue. My internet was out for like at least 10 to 12 hours, and it was just like 2 days ago. It wasn't yesterday, it was the day before yesterday. And it was right after our stream. And this is so fucking weird, because it's telling me that I'm connected, but it's not doing anything. This is the weirdest thing. But yeah, if I was, because I actually was interviewing Max Keiser and had a similar issue. My computer locked up.
I remember.
And I had to, and he was on there talking, and I was like doing like how me and you would do, and like when somebody's talking, put them on solo layout. And he had no clue that what had happened actually happened.
Gotcha.
And they were really impressed. But it's just because it's web-based. If we were using straight OBS, that would have been it. It would have just cut off the stream.
Yep.
But I'm slowly logging back in. I don't know why everything is all jacked here. And once I'm able to...
elections are coming closer. Too many internet issues. Yeah.
Or they're rebooting something.
Guys, what is going on with Iran and Israel? I'm confused. Can you help? Well, we'll have to jump. We'll have to jump on that topic this coming week if the world is still here. Round of applause. My Crypto Space UK, because it's a lot going on there as well. It's just too much, bro. Too fucking much. All right, we're back live.
Yeah, let me see if I can take myself out of here. Just remove it. Yeah, this is that. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Well, I think you're hearing the other one. I'm not sure if my mic is working.
Yeah, I can hear you in your mic. Yep.
This is like so slow. So you can hear me?
Yeah.
No, I don't want to end the fucking stream. I just want to leave. It's not let me leave.
I can hear you.
I think you. I still think you're hearing me through my phone.
No, I can hear it through the mic.
Okay, well, I'm just
looking at the third person.
Move. I hear myself. At least let me leave. I just want to leave my stream on my phone. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm just going to kill the browser. Boom.
All right, ladies and gents, make sure you hit that thumbs up. How many people we got on X?
We might have lost some of those people. Let me go back to my I know why you didn't hear me right, because my fucking gain went back down on this thing when all that shit happened. We had a decent amount. I think we at one point had like over 150 people watching. My ex might have ended it. I don't understand why. It's not showing the numbers.
Good God.
It's a mess, man.
Crazy. And now
you're pissed off somebody.
Your audio is all choppy and stuff, man. What the fuck? All right.
It's probably my.
I guess let's go ahead and end it.
You know how many? Yeah. Let's. You got anything you want to say before we wrap up?
No. Not at all.
We got a lag too. I could tell. So we have links for each other's channels and socials down below in each other's video description. So we would greatly appreciate if you would take just a moment of your time, and your time is valuable, to make sure you are subscribed, following us on such said platforms. Was that
Rice sounding like RFK?
What, like a politician, or was my voice raspy?
No, the voice is all choppy and stuff, man. Kill this shit, man. They're coming after us. We got to leave our homes now. Bye.
All right, much love.